A win is a win is a win, and the Indiana Fever without Caitlin Clark go up against the Las Vegas Aces and last year's MVP, A'ja Wilson, and walk away with a W, 80-70. Sophie Cunningham has been hot to trot. Sophie Cunningham has been on fire.
What happens when the Indiana Fever lose their biggest star but still manage to destroy A'ja Wilson's Las Vegas Aces? The answer will completely change how you view this team. While Caitlin Clark sat on the bench out injured but still getting heated at the refs, her teammates took care of business on the court. Kelsey Mitchell dropped 21 points when it mattered most. And Sophie Cunningham just became the hottest player in the league. Literally, this wasn't just a win. It was a statement that sent shockwaves through the entire league. So, how did the Fever end up with this dominant victory? And what did Sophie do in this game that made her redot? Comment Sophie if you're fired up. Let's go.
Back in the W shot.
Oh, that was a gut check win right there. Oh, nothing to check.
Yes, Natasha Howard!
That was a fun one. My gosh, and these jerseys are sweaty.
Picture this. Your team just lost back-to-back games to the Liberty, and your superstar is sitting on the bench in street clothes with a groin injury. That's exactly where the Indiana Fever found themselves walking back into Gainbridge Fieldhouse on July 24th. The weight of those two straight losses hung heavy in the air. Everyone was asking the same question. Who are the Fever without Caitlin Clark?
There's no timeline for Caitlin, but what has she been able to do this last week? Is it mostly just rehab recovery, or has she been able to do any kinds of practice?
Yeah, no, I mean, we haven't really practiced since the couple days before All-Star break. So mostly rehab, shooting, and she's been with our athletic training team, and we've been preparing everybody else.
The Fever's 12 wins and 12 loss record told only part of the story. Critics weren't just questioning their playoff chances anymore. They were writing obituaries for the entire season. Social media was brutal. Sports talk shows painted them as pretenders who got exposed the moment their superstar sensation went down. The narrative was simple and devastating. Take away Clark and you're left with nothing special. The pressure kept building with every passing day. Playoff seeding was on the line. Every game mattered now. Standing in their way was A'ja Wilson and the Las Vegas Aces, the back-to-back champions who knew exactly how to smell blood in the water. The Aces rolled into Indianapolis with their 12-win and 11-loss record, but carried themselves like the season champions they were. Caitlin presents a challenge in
itself for any opponent, but when she doesn't play, how is your team different?
I think our ball moves differently. What we run is different. She has such gravity, and her ability, not just to be the top of the scouting report, but her ability to make everybody better with the ball in her hands. So some of the things that we run are different when she's on the floor than when she's not. We run some more off-ball stuff, a lot less on-ball.
Coach Stephanie White felt the weight of this moment more than anyone. She knew this game would define everything about her team's identity. Were they legitimate contenders who could compete with elite teams, or were they just another team that needed their star player to have any chance of success? White had to find the right words to reach her players when doubt was creeping into everyone's minds.
Yeah, it's definitely a relief to know that there's nothing else going on and no more damage. Now it's just being patient with the process. You can't have 5-minute lapses against great teams. They make you pay, and they bury you in those moments. I think we've seen, throughout the course of the season, where we've been really good for long stretches, and where we've weathered the ups and downs of a game, and we've got to be able to do that from a neutral mindset. We can't get into the playing conservative.
The Aces came in confident, maybe even cocky. You could see it in their body language during warm-ups. A'ja Wilson and her Olympic teammates probably circled this game on their calendar the moment Clark got injured. This was their golden opportunity to prove what many suspected all along, that the Fever were nothing more than a one-woman show disguised as a basketball team. Wilson herself had been dealing with her own jealousy issues regarding Clark over the past 2 seasons. Now she had her chance to show everyone who the real MVP was. The Aces likely saw this as their statement game, their chance to remind the league that championships matter more than hype. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn that nobody saw coming. Sometimes, the best thing that can happen to a team is having people count them out completely. The Fever used every single doubt as fuel. They transformed their biggest weakness into their greatest strength. What happened next would shock the entire WNBA and send a message that this team was far from finished. The Fever were about to prove that champions aren't made when everything goes right. They're forged when everything goes wrong.
Let's go! Okay, we answered runs today, y'all. We had one another's back today, y'all. In the moments where it seemed like they could have made a little bit of a comeback, we stopped that. Yeah, we sure did. Now we have to be able to continue to stack that, maintain that consistency right there. I'm so proud of you guys. So proud of you guys. That was a hard-fought win. You earned it. We got on 3, 1, 2, 3, together.
When your team needs a hero, sometimes the quietest person steps forward. And Kelsey Mitchell was ready for her moment. Mitchell had been catching heat all season long for her inconsistent play. Critics kept saying she'd disappeared when the Fever needed scoring the most. The numbers backed up their arguments too. Mitchell would go off for 20 points one night, then shoot 3 for 15 the next game when it mattered. Early in this game against the Aces, those doubts looked completely justified. Mitchell missed her first few shots and looked totally out of rhythm. You could see the frustration building on her face with every missed attempt. The crowd at Gainbridge Fieldhouse started getting restless. They could sense the Fever's offense falling apart without Clark's playmaking magic. Mitchell felt every single miss weighing on her shoulders. The pressure kept mounting with each shot that refused to fall. She went 4 of 19 from the field through 3 quarters. Those are the kind of numbers that get players benched in crucial games.
Handoff Cunningham. Cunningham too strong. Mitchell able to save the day. And it's Mitchell going right to the rim. Beats the shot clock and lays it in. Mitchell to the rescue.
Sessions very disruptive, causing all kinds of havoc. Late shot clock situations. And then Kelsey
White pulled Mitchell aside during a timeout and delivered the message that would change everything. Let it fly. It's going to go, White told her star guard. Those simple words hit Mitchell exactly where she needed to hear them. White also reminded Mitchell to stay balanced when attacking the rim for better reads and decisions. Mitchell's teammates started rallying around her in ways that don't always show up in the box score. They fed her the ball in better positions. They set harder screens to get her open looks. They created the space Mitchell needed to find her rhythm and confidence again.
Olsen thought about the 3. Cunningham feed inside. Boston spinning, turning, ducking, finding Mitchell, who splashes home a 3.
The fourth quarter became Mitchell's personal showcase when the game was hanging in the balance. She scored 9 crucial points in those final 12 minutes. She went 4 for 5 from the field when it mattered most. Mitchell also recorded 4 assists that tied for the team-high mark. She was making plays for her teammates while taking over the scoring load.
Fun, couple of former teammates, played 2 years together.
clear out, take it.
Mitchell sizing up Lloyd. She will launch and bury a 3.
Get out of the way. Mitchell pulling the trigger from deep. Fever up 9.
Mitchell finished with 21 points, silencing every single critic who questioned her ability to lead this team in clutch moments. She demonstrated the mental toughness she talked about after their loss to the Liberty. Her performance proved that the Fever had multiple players capable of taking over games when needed most. This wasn't just about replacing Clark's production. This was about Mitchell becoming the leader this team always needed her to be.
Got 2 really good offensive coaches over there on the sideline.
Mitchell finds a cutting Boston, who lays it in. From Mitchell here on this one.
So you don't want anybody to cut across the front of your face, but it's just a really good delivery.
While everyone was focused on who would replace Clark scoring, Sophie Cunningham quietly became the most dangerous shooter in the entire league. She entered this game against the Aces, riding a scorching hot streak that had her reaching double figures in 6 straight games. The numbers were getting impossible to ignore. Cunningham was averaging 13.7 points and 4.7 rebounds per contest while making 3.0 three-pointers a night.
Offense was not the issue for Indiana on Tuesday. They put up 84 points despite the absence of Caitlin Clark. Cunningham hit 5 threes, and it's her first tonight. Stay with Indiana.
So Sophie Cunningham doing a really good job of reading the stagger. You have options off that, and she's reading the...
The question wasn't whether she could keep shooting well. Everyone knew Cunningham had the ability to knock down shots. The real test was whether she could maintain this incredible pace against elite competition like A'ja Wilson's championship squad. The pressure was different now. Teams were starting to game plan specifically for her hot shooting. The numbers were almost too good to believe. Cunningham was shooting 58.1% from three-point range over her last 6 games. That percentage made her the hottest shooter in the entire WNBA during the month of July. These weren't garbage time threes either. She was hitting clutch shots when her team needed them most.
And for Sophie Cunningham to start again tonight, or what's your...
Yes.
What is it about her, I guess, at the start of a game that you like having her in the lineup?
Another ball handler, another player who can create shots for her teammates, as well as stretch the floor. A really good defensive rebounder as well. We had at times really struggled from a defensive rebounding standpoint, so like that as well. And her energy.
What makes Cunningham special isn't just her shooting. She contributes rebounds, defense, and leadership when needed. Coach Stephanie White moved her into the starting lineup specifically to leverage her energy and versatility. White praised Cunningham's ability to stretch the floor, rebound defensively, and facilitate on offense. She called Cunningham another ball handler and shot creator. Basketball analysts are now seriously discussing her as the front runner for 6th Player of the Year. Honestly, who else even comes close? One analyst called her an absolute assassin for her clutch shooting ability. Her consistent scoring and impact off the bench have made her a legitimate contender for the award.
This run continues, but Cunningham able to put an end.
Cunningham's transformation from role player to legitimate weapon has given the Fever a scoring threat nobody saw coming. She went from being a complimentary piece to becoming one of the most feared shooters in the league. Some fans are even saying that haters need to apologize to Sophie Cunningham for doubting her abilities. Her consistency and clutch gene have become the perfect complement to this team's championship aspirations. When Caitlin Clark returns from injury, she'll be joining a team that has another proven scorer who can swing the game's momentum. Cunningham has proven she belongs on basketball's biggest stage. With 35 seconds left and the game hanging in the balance, Ari McDonald stepped up to deliver the shot that would define this entire victory. The Fever were clinging to a 5-point lead, but everyone knew that wasn't safe against a championship team like Las Vegas. The Aces had been chipping away at Indiana's advantage all 4th quarter. Las Vegas still had enough time to steal this game if they got a stop and hit their shots.